right, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for an electrifying and informative episode of This Week at Shrouded? I'm thrilled to be your host, A. Greener, and I'm even more excited to announce our incredible lineup of guests for today's show. Joining me today are the esteemed Mr. Goodsaint, the legendary Mr. Wrecked, and the incomparable Captain Gatto.
I'm waving.
We'll be diving into the latest news and updates from Bungie, including the highly anticipated This Week at Bungie from the 16th, and discussing the exciting changes coming to weapon crafting and the epic Lightfall expansion, of course. The Lightfall expansion and what we can expect in the year ahead. But that's not all. We're also going to take a quick, a deep dive into the abilities and beyond, a look at the past, present, and future of 3.0 and what it means for the game's evolution. So sit back, relax, and get ready to be blown away by our expert panel's insights and analysis. It's going to be an epic episode you won't want to miss. Join us now for This Week at Shrouded, and let's dive into the world of gaming and Destiny together. So we're going to start off past that like we do every week. Ask everybody what they've been doing. That's not Destiny related. Last week we had 2 Destiny related answers. That's okay if you're still playing Destiny this week. There's nothing wrong with a little Destiny in our lives. Obviously there's a lot. But have you guys been playing anything else this week?
I have.
What have you been playing, Mr. Goodsaint?
Well, since I just splurged the other night and spent $800 and bought a new Xbox and PlayStation 5, I downloaded Last of Us Part 1 and Horizon Forbidden West. So I've been playing both those off and on for like the last 2 days.
Okay, I'm going to stop. I'm going to ask you your opinions on them, but do you have PlayStation Plus?
No, I didn't get it. I just
They literally just announced the games for next month is Horizon Forbidden West.
Mm.
So
both of them were on discount anyway, so I didn't really spend them.
That's probably why. Did you dive into either one of them?
Yeah. No, I'm about 3 hours into Last of Us and I don't know, maybe 2 hours into Horizon. Played the first one on my laptop. Thought it was a great game. Really wanted to play the second one, but didn't have PlayStation, so I'm enjoying the second one so far. And then Last of Us, I don't know, just it's I because I'm watching the show, it's different. It's cool to see the differences between the two. But I'm enjoying both of them so far for sure.
Yeah, 3 hours into The Last of Us is a good chunk. 2 hours into Horizon is really nothing. But I haven't played The Last of Us since I played it on PlayStation 3. But watching the show, it really, you remember everything that happened and the way it happens. And
Right.
you might not notice the differences as much because it's been 8 years. But it's really interesting to see how close they actually are, and some of the small changes that they're making. It's really interesting. Is everybody watching The Last of Us?
Yep.
No.
You guys see the last episode?
You mean the best one they released so far? Yeah.
Yeah. The end of that episode was crazy, right? I don't want to get too much into it for spoilers for people who haven't watched it, but it was good. It was good.
Look, yeah, it was amazing. As someone, I personally don't own a console. I'm waiting for the games to be released on Steam eventually, which should be very soon as well. But I have seen gameplays of the game itself, and seeing that happening in the series, it was pretty good actually.
It was pretty good.
The recreation was amazing. And I'm just saying this without any spoilers, so if you haven't watched it, go ahead. It's worth it.
The death of that one character was perfect death scene animation, straight from the game. I loved it. You might know who I'm talking about. You might not.
I haven't gotten there in the game yet.
Give it away. No. Well, there's a game where in the game when you're attacked by a bloater and you die, it does a cutscene animation.
Oh, okay.
It's
gotcha. Okay, I know what you're
The
talking about now.
bloater
Yeah.
kills the guy in the
Yeah.
exact
Yep.
same animation
Okay.
style. So it was really a callback to the game. That's all.
I'm sure I'll die enough to it, so I'll see it over and over.
Yeah, just wait till he grabs a hold of you and rips your head off,
Hmm.
because he will.
Sweet. Looking forward to it.
All right, we'll move on. Rex, you got anything on the docket for this week?
I haven't played anything except for Destiny and Overwatch. I finally have gotten into the third season of Overwatch and played around with a. I have a Valentine's Day event going on, and one of the things they released with it is a web-based Overwatch dating sim that can get you some rewards in the game. So I've been playing the Overwatch version of a Japanese dating sim a little bit, and then I bought a PS5 just today, actually. So,
Nice.
but that's just so I can play Destiny on 2 platforms. So, you know.
I gotcha. Gato, anything?
Yeah, I've actually been playing on the Minecraft server itself. I've been fixing a lot of stuff. I have adding as well some previously requested stuff, such as returning the skins back to players who previously also had the skins. And I'm planning on adding much, much more. This is just a little break in between Destiny updates because as soon as as soon as Lightfall comes out, I'm gonna leave Minecraft as is for a little bit.
That's fair. That's very fair. Okay, so I've been playing. Oh, I started Dead Space today. I streamed it actually. So I'm about 4.5 hours in, and yeah, it's really good. Ironically, I've only played it the one time when it came out originally. I played it on PC back in can't even remember. It's been forever. Whenever it was released, probably within the first year it was released. And there's rooms and places and things that I'm recognizing. So it really it really makes you go like this game did. You know, it had a pretty profound impact on me when I played it originally. Because the fact that that you recognize, like, there's a room in the game where you walk in and there's a store to your right and there's a tram in front of you and then just like this little glassed off place to your left. And I walked in there, and I was just like, and the first thing that's like, I was like, oh my god, I remember this from the original, and I just thought it was so funny because, like I said, I only played that game one time, like 10 years ago, probably, and I still remember, probably longer. How fucking that game is old.
Mm-hmm.
It's like PlayStation 3 era, so like sometime probably before 2010 when it came out. So yeah, 13, 14 years ago. Maybe I'm wrong on the timeline, but it's somewhere around there. Anyway, it's pretty good. It's fun. Within the first hour, I already knew it was better than the Callisto Protocol. And when I say better, like, I don't think my heart like raced really at all playing Callisto. But they're definitely like Dead Space. They nail the atmosphere. They nail the freakiness, and I swear to Christ, if like one more necromorph jumps out in front, it's out of a vent in front of me, and then another one attacks me from behind at the same time, I'm gonna snap because it every fucking time, and I still am not ready for it every single time, and it scares the shit out of me. Anyway, it's good. It's very good. So you had mentioned originally when you talked about it that they've added side quests and whatnot. I've only like done one, and it keeps taking me on the path that I have to go anyway.
Some of them are like locked off until you get to like the other areas of the ship, but they're more like side stories in a way, or like additional like story beats that weren't in the first game to kind of like flesh out more of that particular character or what's going on like just in the universe itself. There there's only one that's kind of like, I guess, missable, and that's near the end, and that's one that you kind of would have to backtrack to almost every area to get, but it's well worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm down for like doing all the backtracking and whatnot stuff, but like I expected it to be doing that, and then like I was doing one, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna swap off the main quest and kind of head over and see if I can move this one along. Um, and as I was like following the guided line as to where to go,
Mm.
like it brought me to where I needed to be on my main quest as well. So I was just like, oh, okay, so that's interesting. And then the next step is I can't do it until I unlock the next space
Yeah.
through the main quest. And I'm like, okay, so this is just taking me to different rooms in
But yeah, pretty much.
yeah, anyway. So we'll see if there's more in there that do more backtracking, because I'm down for that, opening new doors, and maybe that you couldn't get into before. Always a big fan of that. Big Metroidvania fan, so it kind of like gives you the same feel. So anyway, good. I've got more time in Hogwarts. I'm probably about 25 hours in now. The game is still good, but it's falling victim at this point. To me, it's falling victim to the open world curse. And what I mean by that is they give you 1 billion activities to do in the open world, and they are all incredibly boring. So if you're a completionist like me, which I am, I love getting my little platinum trophy, which is why I buy all my single player games on PlayStation. It gets really irritating, and because I don't want to come back after I beat the game, I do it all before I advance through the main story quest. And to the point, once I get all that done, I'm like so sick of the game that I can't appreciate the main story. I know it's just a stupid way of doing it, but it's how I do it. And I just really wish that they would stop putting so much content. Like there's this puzzle in the game where it's called the Merlin Trials or whatever. And each one is like, you got to shoot 4 pillars or something. And one's like you got to roll a ball down a hill into a hole. And there's like, I don't know, 60 of them. And it's just like why? And I do appreciate the little bit of the fact it's like once you do like 5 and then 10 and then 25, you get a bigger inventory space. So you're actually getting rewarded for it, which is better than some open worlds that don't reward you like for these things other than your collectible. But it's still incredibly monotonous and boring. But we'll see.
Everybody who makes an open world game, if they don't give you 60 hours, if they can't say 60 hours of content, they just get roasted online for whatever reason. When it's just it's too much. They have to put in too much filler for them to pad it out to that number of hours.
The thing
and
is,
it happens to all of them.
It does happen to all of them. But listen, why can't every game just be like The Witcher 3?
Right.
All of the side content in The Witcher is perfect. It's entertaining, it's engaging, it has its own storyline. It's not just go here and get this fucking thing and bring it over here. It's like go here, figure out what this monster is, figure out, its weaknesses and whatever and abilities and, why it's messing with these people in this town specifically and how it's affecting them, that they lost their father, blah, blah, blah. Like there's so much more fleshed out to it, and it's great. And that game is still huge. So, like, it can be done. It's so annoying. I don't know. It's just like the Far Cries and the Assassin's Creed, There's just so much content that it's just like, ugh. Those games are good on their own rights, but...
Are they? Listen,
I love the Far Cry games.
I've finished every Far Cry 1 through 6. All right, I haven't done the latest one.
6 is the latest one.
No, I'm also thinking Blood Dragon and the post-apocalyptic one. Because I've done those a lot. I haven't played the latest one, but their gameplay loop gets so boring because the main thing you're doing is also repetitive. How many more bases or towers do I need to unlock? Yep.
That's the thing, right? You're right, exactly. But if you just ran through those in the stories without unlocking each one of those towers or the villages or outposts, that's the term that I was looking for that, then I don't know, it would be okay. I like, upgrading my weapons and whatever and getting to the next spot. Perfect. Okay, that's great. Unlock the new map, explore it, kill some people, move on. But the fact is, you got to explore it and then unlock 87 outposts, do 14 towers, look through 72 caves. Like, ugh, it's just, I'm tired of
The
that
thing,
stuff.
the thing in those games, and Far Cry in particular, that keeps me coming back is that I can play it with somebody else. Almost all of them I can do with somebody else, which makes the game more interesting. Dealing with an outpost where it's two people trying to go in and do complete the outpost with stealth is a whole different experience than doing it by yourself, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah. I actually haven't played. I lie. I've bought Far Cry 3, Far Cry 4, Far Cry 5, Far Cry 6. I never bought Blood Dragon or I'm trying to think of the name of the post-apocalyptic one.
New Dawn.
New
It's
Dawn.
New Dawn.
And I never bought
Dawn.
Primal. But listen, I've never beat 3, I've never beat 4, I never beat 5, and I haven't even played 6.
6 has cockfighting in it.
Nice.
It's a side game. And you can level up and you get stuff for your rooster.
Nice. All right. Well, I mean, I guess. Anyway, so we talked about other games, and yeah, I just want to say Hogwarts is still good. It's fun to play. If you focus on the main story, it's just too much filler, open world dog shit that every other open world game has. And Dead Space is good, so that's where we are right now. I'll have more on those games. Probably it's the only games I'm going to play other than Destiny next week. But until then, that's all we got. So let's jump into Destiny. All right. So I did want to start with all the posts besides the TWAB because the TWAB does go over a lot of the stuff that is in all the posts. And then we'll skip over that boring stuff. Well, not the boring stuff, but we'll skip over the recap when we get to the TWAB. And then there's only a couple things left. So from last week that we missed, the abilities and beyond, a look at the past, present, future, and the future of 3.0. This post starts by discussing how during year 5, Bungie launched all the 3.0 subclasses, and they kind of neglected how stats affect Guardians since around Shadowkeep, excluding Resistance, of course, which was updated at the beginning of Witch Queen. To address this, they are scaling the stats to reduce the uptime of grenade, melee, and class ability regeneration rates to be more in line with where they were around December 2021. If you don't remember what that time was, it was around the release of the 30th year anniversary content. The maximum tier is now going to be about as strong as tier 8 is currently, and the gain will be more consistent from level 1 through 10. You guys have any thoughts on that?
If you think abilities are too strong, this is good. If you like throwing a grenade every 2 seconds, this is probably bad. I will be interested to see if this design approach to tone down abilities is how that's going to play into the new mods, and whether or not you can build as gonzo a mod build as you can today. I suspect that's not going to be the case because they're also simplifying things. So some of the kind of broken combinations we can do between Charge with Light and Well mods aren't going to be possible probably anymore. But I don't mind having gunplay be more important.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because immediately afterwards they put additionally there's a list of ability energy mods that you're going to be able to run all at the same time now, which include like melee, grenade, utility, kickstart mods. So you're going to be able to, I believe 100% that we're going to be able to go gonzo with our mods and stuff because
Yeah, if you spec
like I
into
said,
it,
you can
do that. Yeah.
running them all at the same time, and if you wanted to, you could have a crazy grenade build easily. That's just as good as it is now. Maybe
I'll be surprised if you have 100% uptime on anything come Lightfall. Personally,
100% uptime on Arc Hunter melee. They're gonna get rid of the dodge.
that's not part of the mod system.
Exactly. So let's go, baby. Anyway, yeah. Anybody else annoyed, I guess, by the stats going down?
No, I think it's a welcome. I mean,
No.
as much as I love to spam abilities, it's something that's kind of needed because it's when I play now, that's literally all I do. Is I will just spam abilities and not fire a single weapon.
The only thing I wish they had addressed is the disparity that hunters have when building into things, right?
What do you mean by that?
Titans and Warlocks have dump stats, all right? They can dump mobility 100% of the time. There's no need to ever put any of the mobility. Hunters can't do that. Hunters have to worry about everything all the time. So it makes doing things like farming armor and stuff a little bit more challenging and time consuming for them.
That is true, because while I do agree with Rect on this, because as someone who always played Hunter, I was very excited the fact that Dodge's cooldown was based on his mobility, and I've always ran 100 mobility. But actually, what does the 100 mobility do? Oh, you walk. It's not even sprint faster. You walk faster, and your
strafe
base.
speed. And strafe speed.
Yeah, but but your first base jump, without using the double jump or anything else, your base jump is higher than as your mobility increases. And people are like, okay, but what about anything else? Warlocks get faster regeneration of their health. Titans get tanky, and hunters, who are supposed to be this agile, speedy class, get outsped by warlocks and titans. So what's the point of building mobility on hunters? We don't have a stat to dump on, like Racket said. So yeah, it needs a little bit of a rework. But again, oh, and also I forgot to say this last week. I misread what they have on the notes, and the hunter dodge is not getting nerfed. It's actually getting buffed.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The cooldown is actually decreasing instead of increasing. I misread it. So
That's my next note.
oops.
It's okay. Well, he said it. Hunter's dodge getting unnerved, with the cooldown for marksman dodge being reduced by 5 seconds and gambler's dodge being reduced by 8 seconds. Let's hear it for hunters. Woo!
Rejoice, hunter mains. Kickstart utility is going to be great again.
Woo! No, that is great. It's good. A lot of the gameplay requires dodge mechanics on hunters, but ironically, I have actually been building into Chad. If you didn't know, I'm a hunter main, but I've been building into mobility less and less and less and less, and just running. I've been running into resilience, obviously, discipline, and recovery.
I mean, it's also based on like how you want your hunter to be, because ever since the mobility stat just decreased the cooldown of the dodge, it never went below 100. Every time that I do a build for my hunter, mobility has to be on 100, because I rely a lot on the dodge activation. Whether it's for giving your melee back, recharging your, reloading your gun, it doesn't really matter. Mobility has to be at 100%.
Well, that's
Personally,
the thing.
I usually then split all the stats, like 70 recovery, 50 resilience, and people like, oh, you run only 50? Like, yeah, for me it's perfectly fine. What happens if you get if a supplicant just tries to explode on your face? Like, I'll just dodge backwards. What do you mean? I can do that.
Or I'll just die and you'll res me. It's fine.
I mean, yeah, it explodes. I'll survive with like 10% of my health. Big whoop. I'll just get it back.
I've been running 100 resilience, and I've just been running lower mobility and more recovery and discipline. I don't really care about intellect. Having the super up's not that big a deal. Especially when I'm running arc, because getting a melee kill gives you back your dodge. And then if I'm running void and I want to rely on being invisible, then I'll run the exotic. I forget what it's called, 6 Coyote. And then my mobility or my dodge is effectively my dodge and my cooldown is half as high as it was, which is better than having 100 mobility anyway. So, and I would still run typically between 60 and 70 mobility based on the stats, because it's pretty easy to still get 5 or 10 mobility on most of your gear, and then you can run powerful friends, and so you're still up there in the 60s to 70s, running that exotic on Void, and then your smoke bomb invis too. Like you'll still be constantly invisible because you got 2 dodges and you got smoke bomb, and your smoke bomb recharges if you dodge near an enemy. So it's like there's no need to have mobility that high anymore. Like I run that a lot in GMs, the ones where I want to be, invisible, and
Yeah,
it works just fine. So I do focus on other stats currently that will keep me alive, which are resilience and recovery.
true. I do agree with that. But also, one thing to add, it also depends on what subclass you're actually running for. Because for Void, that's actually a good idea to run like that because you rely on your invisibility to also not help you progress through the level. But if in sticky situations, a hunter can be invisible to revive your own teammates. Just get out and just find cover. Shoot and hide in GMs. Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of a coward's approach to that, but it keeps you alive. You don't wipe, so it's valid.
Yeah,
Doesn't
you can
really
call it a
matter.
coward's approach, but I don't know how many GMs I saved by being invisible and rezzing my Titan
Oh no!
teammates. So
I know that I'm saying that it's a coward's approach, but let me tell you, I did the same thing.
it works. It works.
Do you know? Do you
Listen,
know?
you,
Do you
What?
know how many people? Sorry, let me just finish this up. Do you know how many people do not know that you can dodge as a hunter and pick up objects from the ground and just take it with you? There are a lot of missions and seasonal activities, so or just stuff that you can pick up. You can just pick them up from the ground, and if you do your invisibility dodge and just pick it up at the right time, you can just take it with you. Like those orbs that the exotic trace rifle puts up. The what's the I don't
ruinous
know the
effigy.
yeah, the ruinous effigy. Yeah, if you time it correctly, you can dodge to be invisible and just pick it up, and it won't take you out of invisibility. A lot of people didn't know that.
Can't you just pick it up after you're invisible without ruining your invis?
I think that now it doesn't ruin your invis, but it did before. But there's also a lot of other ones that
Okay.
actually ruin your invisibility if you pick up stuff
If you
because it
pick it
counts
up during.
because it
Okay.
counts. Yeah, because it counts as an action.
Okay. All right. We're gonna move on from that. I don't want to spend too
Yeah.
much time on too many things or on one specific thing. So Hunter's Dodge unnerfed, not crazy, but it's really nice. 5 and 8 seconds. They did put on here roaming supers can now generate 7 orbs instead of 5 and 1 off. Only or is the opposite 5 down from 7.
No, it's the opposite. Roaming supers now give more super to
That's what I
other
said.
players.
I said they generate 7 orbs up from 5, while 1 off
Exactly.
supers will now generate 5 down from 7. So they swapped. They swapped locations.
On a technical level, they now should give the same amount of super back because the one and done supers would generate the bigger orbs of light that would give you more super, while the roaming supers would give you the smaller orbs, so it would give you less
I
super.
I don't think that's true.
I mean, I've seen
I
it
didn't even know
because
there was bigger or smaller ones.
really.
Yeah,
Is that a
yeah.
thing?
Small orbs are generated based off like helmet mods
Yeah.
that generate orbs
But
a lot from
weapon
weapon
kills and
kills.
stuff
They
like that, yeah.
generate small orbs.
Um, not exactly because le- d- if you play as a hunter, I'm talking for everybody that reads the chat, listens to this, and wants to try that out. Do this following. Do this. Take a hunter, blade barrage. You send out blade barrage. You hit all of your knives and just kill like what 10 enemies. Let's just say like that. You will spawn between 5 to 6 orbs, but smaller orbs. You do the same thing with Celestial, Golden Gun Celestial Nighthawk, and you kill a boss. It will spawn only between 1 to 3 orbs, but those orbs will be bigger orbs, and those bigger orbs will actually give you more super than the smaller ones.
Maybe it's just hunters being weird.
It's not just hunters. It's also like other classes.
Okay. I didn't even know there was bigger or smaller ones, so I can't argue one way or the other.
Green doesn't see size.
Yeah, I guess not.
Like other classes.
Anyway, I lost where I was. Hold on. Okay. Either way, the roaming supers get more now, and one-off supers get less. Hammer of Soul, Daybreak, Spectral Blades, all getting a buff with their base cooldown being reduced by 1 minute and 9 seconds. So anybody using those, congratulations. However, Ward of Dawn is getting a PvP nerf with a reduction in the HP from 1350 to 8000. I'm gonna guess that was because of Iron Banner.
Iron Banner, probably.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I wouldn't point at Iron Banner specifically as the reason for it. It's been a problem for a while in any objective game mode. Titans
Okay.
get their super so fast, then they can just dump it before anybody else can, which then leads to super hour for everybody else.
Okay. Well, the shield gets less. It can be destroyed easier now. There was some other details about energy weapons. The kinetic weapon damage on it is changing to 1.5 times the regular amount of damage. I guess energy weapons used to be 2.5, and kinetics were just 1.0. So it's kind of a balance between the two now. That's whatever to me. I always just, blade barraged it. So didn't really matter at the end of the day. Thundercrash is also getting a PvP nerf with the reduction of the size of the explosion, making it possible to get away and a shorter time to fly around with the descent starting earlier. On the other hand, though, Fist of Havoc is getting a PvE damage buff of 20%, which probably,
No one ever used it in
probably doesn't
PvE,
matter
so-
anyway. And I don't think
No.
20% is going to make people decide to use it. Unless there's going to be some crazy... There might be some crazy, like, add clear needs for some shit like that in Lightfall. I guess we can't assume, but maybe, who knows. Keeping with the supers, Daybreak is getting a PvE damage buff with it's also getting more swings, like and the Phoenix Dive is getting a buff since no one seems to be using it. The cooldown will be reduced, the regeneration length will increase, and while Daybreak is active, the cooldown will be further reduced and damage will be increased for the damage from the explosion. So I don't even know what Phoenix Dive is. I'm not gonna lie.
It takes up your rift.
Yeah.
It takes place of your rift and it allows you to dive to the ground like a shadow dive kind of thing.
Okay.
And you get healed when you hit the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Get healed, and there must be a small explosion of damage around you.
If you're in your super, there is, but just using a
Oh,
base,
okay.
it creates like a healing aura around you.
Okay. All right. Well, that damage when you're in your super is getting buffed, and the cooldown when you're in your super is getting buffed dramatically. They said so you'd be able to use it again and again. But then the standard cooldown is also being reduced, and the regeneration length is increasing to 3 seconds rather than 1 second. So,
sadly, no notes about Ward of Dawn, or not Ward of Dawn, Well of Radiance getting nerfed. I was really hoping to see a complete removal of its damage bonus or a reduction to just radiant levels of damage bonus, but alas, it did not appear.
Nope. Didn't see it. Maybe it's coming. Anyway, we talked about this last week, but the post also mentioned that collisions won't be killing Guardians, so RIP Eager Edge fun. We are getting some new fragments as well for the 3.0 subclasses in Lightfall to help with build crafting. There's going to be 2 new ones for Arc and 3 for Solar and Void, with 3 additional fragment effects getting changes. 3 existing ones getting changes. I can go over them if you like quickly, but I didn't write them down to go over them. I figure if people want to get super interested in them, then they can go read the link below.
There are a couple of notable ones. Okay. All right.
I like one from Solar.
There's one for Void. Where is it? Pick up Void Breaches and gives you Overshield.
Overshield, yeah.
Defeating a target when your shields are depleted grants you temporary Void Overshield. So You have no shields. You kill somebody, you get overshielded. Now, I understand that we mostly talk about PvE in here, but that's going to be broken AF in PvP.
Yeah.
Oh my lord! At the end of every duel, you're going to get an overshield. If you win that 1v1, congratulations, you get overshield.
Oh my god!
Remember
So
the
I'm
rest
gonna be like a Titan now.
Remember the restoration days where you just won a duel and another player's come up to finish you off? Healing grenade. I'm done. I'm good. Let's go.
You
And
know
be
how
that
many
all
ti-
over again.
You know how many times I'm like team shooting another team and like the Titan kills my teammate and he has like 1 health, and then all of a sudden he's got like 180 billion health.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so nice for me to be that person now. I'm so excited. Let's go. Anyway, yeah, they'd mentioned Fire Sprites and Void Breach are new things that they're working with the fragments. So that's going to be addressed. And the ones that are changing for both solar and that are existing but changing have on solar are in. The reason they're changing is because they're implementing Fire Sprite information, and the same with the Void they're bringing in Void Breach stuff. So in Void breaches are created by selecting a selection of new and existing Void fragments, and they grant class ability energy on pickup. So here's the build to get your dodge back. And then Fire Sprites are going to be the same thing, and they grant grenade energy on pickup. So Solar is going to be grenades, and Void is going to be class ability, cooldown stuff. So
And ionic traces are probably still going to be all 3.
most likely, they didn't mention any changes to that. There's one that's interesting in the arc where it's Spark of Haste, where you have greatly increased resilience, recovery, and mobility while sprinting. So while you're running around,
Juggernaut maybe.
yeah.
Light or Juggernaut light. I don't know.
So I thought that was kind of interesting because it depends on what greatly increased means, but typically greatly means greatly. So, getting 20 resilience, recovery, and mobility. But that makes me wonder, like, I don't know how that stuff works. Like, say you got 100 of all those, which you can't really. Well, you might be able to. I don't know. Depends. But say you got 100 in the top 3. If you go above any of those, it tells you, this isn't just diminishing returns. It doesn't work above 100 at all. Do these bonuses work above 100?
Mm-hmm. Typically, I believe they do.
No. So testing it now, if you test it now, like if you put lightweight weapons on while you're 100 mobility, they add a mobility scaler is what they're doing, right? You won't necessarily see ability regen faster if you're already maxed out.
Okay. So this is only useful if you're not running 100 resilience and recovery. Anyway.
Well, I mean, this goes to what we were talking about earlier about hunters getting the short end of the stick for stat distribution. So this is a way for them to make up for that, potentially.
Just run around in a circle. Yeah, all right. Cool. Well, that's really basically the whole thing, 2 abilities and beyond. And like I'd said at the beginning of the show, that's the only thing I wrote any notes down for. So we're going to jump right into Lightfall and the year ahead. Ooh la la. So this was something that they, I don't know, Joe wrote, whoever Joe is.
They've done one every year before each expansion.
So the big things in it, well, there's a bunch of big stuff in this, but there's, some big things we want to hit on. We got names of both the first and second season of Lightfall, which is really unheard of. Bungie never announces, well, they haven't in a long time. Okay. They don't really announce the seasonal names ahead of time and what they're based on, but we got seasonal name for the first season in Lightfall and the second season, and we got information from the first season, which is nuts. But we also got that in a vid doc the other day as well. But Season of Defiance, the first season of Lightfall. Season of Defiance. Okay, it's going to be taking. Whereas Lightfall mostly takes place on Neomura. Fuck, I don't know.
Neomuna.
Yeah, okay. All right, cool. Season of Defiance is going to take place on Earth.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. I like to see a lot of that stuff. they wrote a bunch of stuff on here on iterations coming in Season of Defiance, and they had mentioned that we are going to see like the return of the seasonal vendor system because they didn't really have any time under their belt with the player feedback of people saying they're getting bored of that by the time that this content was completed. But very interesting news. I'm excited for it's the next season after that. What season is Season of Defiance? What number?
21.
21?
20.
20?
20, yeah. Yeah.
All right. So with Season 21, the name of Season 21, Season of the Deep, which sounds interesting. But also they're going to say we're not going to see that. So that's going to be the first one that they've built that doesn't recently that doesn't have the vendor upgrade paradigm.
And no power cap either between the two.
Was it
There's
21?
gonna be, yeah, well,
What they
and
said
going
that
into 21, yeah, going from 20 to 21, there's going to be no light level bump.
Very cool. I remember reading that. I just didn't realize it was for Deep. I thought it might have been for after. Anyway, so that's going to be the first season where we don't see the vendor upgrade system. So it's going to be very interesting to see what they do and if it's actually different enough to make a difference. Because saying there's no vendor upgrade system doesn't mean that there's just not some sort of boring ass update system. Because it could very well just be the exact same thing with different packaging. So we'll see how that works. I'm hit and miss on no light increase. It's going to be nice to not really have to worry about that, but also it's part of the reason that I play Pinnacle activities at the beginning of seasons is to get that upgraded. So I'm not going to have any motivation to do certain things, which is unfortunate. But we'll see. We'll see, especially with, a dungeon. Like, that's going to introduce a new dungeon, right? Season of the Deep. So once I have that exotic, like I won't really have a reason to run the dungeon other than having fun, I guess. I don't know. Who wants to have fun? I want pinnacles. We'll see what comes in to place, but I mean that'll be interesting. Okay. Let's see here. Blah, 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 blah. On top of these changes, Season of Defiance, players can expect a total of fewer vendor upgrades. Oh, isn't that nice? All right, we'll get less vendor upgrades. Hopefully that means we can get them all before like the 7th week of the season. That's always what it is like.
They didn't say anything in here about not drip feeding the content.
Yeah.
So,
they're
don't
definitely
get set your expectations appropriately. All right.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. Sorry. So there's weapon crafting changing. Obviously, there is a whole post about this. So we'll wait. We'll wait. Well, we don't need to wait. Very interesting stuff where basically the big perk on this is we are going to be able to upgrade random rolls now, which is really interesting. Really, it's kind of their way of battling with adept weapons being useless. But
and there being a reason to finally do master raids. What?
Yeah, there's a reason to do master raids because we're going to be able to take. We can still only take those random rolls and enhance those perks, but that's still better than not being able to enhance the perks at all. So that's great. But they also mentioned that they are going to be focusing a little less on weapon crafting and making more weapons only random rollable. So I want to see like what they said exactly is to create independent chases for both crafted and non-crafted weapons, starting with Lightfall. Fewer of our total weapons will be craftable, and more of our weapons with long-term sources will get value from random perk rolls. So basically, they're going to focus a little less on making everything craftable, like this whole year was. Every seasonal weapon was craftable, so that might not be a thing this year. And there's going to be, or maybe they will. Because it does say with long-term sources. What is a long-term source? Forever? Because our seasonal weapons are only yearly.
Yeah, I mean, there were 10 weapons this season, right? The Ikelos and the Seraph weapons. In Season of the Haunted, there
They
were...
did the same, yeah.
Was it also 10 or was it 8?
There was 6 and 4.
Okay, yeah, so 10 more. That's a lot of crafted weapons to be adding in one 90-day period, 1 3-month period, you know?
That's fair. That's fair. So, yeah, that makes sense. Anyway, we're going to be able to use mementos on these weapons as well, so you'll be able to use them on everything. You can get the enhanced intrinsic properties, which is nice. So, basically, yeah. Random rolls, you get enhanced perks on them now, which is great. There's other stuff about deep sight. You're not going to see deep sight on any weapons unless it's actually you can actually craft it. So that's nice. So basically, the point of that was they said so when you actually see a red border now, you get a
It's
little
meaningful.
it's meaningful. You get a little excited.
Right.
There is one thing that I'm not 100% sure what this means, but I'm interested. So it says targeting Season of the Deep. We will be adding a mechanism to activate deep sight on any craftable weapon they do not have the pattern for.
Presumably, that means when you get like a random roll of a weapon that is craftable, but it's not red border, you'll be able to spend some kind of resources to turn it into a red border that
Okay,
you can then
Yeah.
disable or use to get the pattern off of.
So that's how I read it, but I wasn't sure because it seemed really good.
Yep.
And
Wow.
Bungie's not typically really good at doing things that make sense.
They are changing all of the crafting economies to shards and cores and other stuff, which for some of us that are a long time doesn't really matter,
No.
but it may matter for other people. Like, what if it costs you an Ascendant shard to do that? Or an Ascendant alloy to do that, you know?
Yeah. Increase Ascendant alloy inventory cap, please, to 50.
Just put all the end game currencies right where the shards and glimmer and stuff are,
and then
uncap them.
get don't
Leave
cap
them up there.
Oh, that'd be so
leave 'em up
nice.
there.
You imagine? Like just have like 800 Ascendant charges.
Yeah, that is
shards.
exactly why it will never happen.
Right.
But you should reward us for playing your game that much.
You can already hold 40 of them.
It's so annoying.
I know.
Why-
it means
why
you have
do
to
I-
play your Titan in. You have to play your Warlock. Oh, no. Oh, woe is me.
It's not just playing them; it's going into the mailbox to go get them. It's so irritating.
That's why you used him.
Can you? Oh yeah, I suppose you could get them out.
yeah.
Yeah, I think
You
there's
can
I
extract
think
them
there's
from
pictures.
All
different.
right. Yeah, perfect. All right. So there was this other thing, bring challenge back to Destiny. They're talking about a lot of their content not being challenging enough. A lot of people are on Twitter and yada yada and being like, the game doesn't need to be harder. But I think they're focused more on like, not necessarily like their end game content. They were talking more about like seasonal content, strikes and stuff being
Strikes and stuff like
being
that.
a little bit more difficult.
And anybody who's been paying attention had to know this was coming. So the Witch Queen introduced a new way for them to scale difficulty. All right, with their legendary modes. That showed up in other content.
This season specifically.
So we knew that was coming. I think this is a good change. Making sure that strikes are always a little bit harder than your power level. I think that's great.
Right.
It's just a little. It's 5 power. It's only 5.
I think it'll be more interesting to do them now, for sure. You can't just like, you could still, if you do your build right, you can still smash right through them, but it's not necessarily like I die from time to time in this season's current Battlegrounds. Isn't it nice to actually be able to be killed?
I mean, usually when I die in like the regular power level heist, it's because I'm doing some stupid shit because I'm bored, right? So I'm doing things I wouldn't normally do in a GM. So
I don't know. I get killed by some of them fucking champions from time to time. They focus in on me, murder me, and it's because they're 5 power levels higher. So anyway, I think it works fine. I've got no problem with it. It's gonna be good.
Me neither.
Yeah. Tuning abilities. Let's see here. I think we just talked about that. So I'm not.
Yeah,
worried about
he
that.
references the same article that we were just looking at.
Exactly. And then what? I read this earlier. Enemy mine. What is this? Okay, they're talking about. Okay, this one's talking about adding Heist Battlegrounds into the playlist, which is fine. This is the same part that they talk about adding some of them into Nightfalls, which means
Yeah,
we're gonna
the
get
Mars
GM
one.
Battlegrounds next season, right? That's what
Yeah,
that means. Right?
yeah, that's what that means. Which
Okay.
should be interesting because the Mars one in particular, there's not a lot of cover for most of that.
No.
And you got to keep people off that point while you're on it.
Especially at the beginning, which is going to be brutal.
Yeah.
Fun.
But it's going to be similar to. It's probably just going to be similar to keeping people off the point in Exodus Crash, right? So it's not much different. You know, you do a little bit, you kill some people, but they keep coming.
Well, they're probably gonna have GM difficulty level choristers though that are gonna run up to that totem and shut down all your
Those
abilities.
things were already basically GM level. Like, those things were tanky as shit.
It's gonna be fun
I thought
and
about
horrible and frustrating, but great.
But they had mentioned the other day that our GM experience in season 20 is going to be 4 new GM experiences and 2 old ones. So that means we're getting 2 Lightfall Strike Nightfalls, from what I understand, and then we're getting 2 Battleground GMs.
Well, they said they were gonna redo what Arms Dealer and
Arms Dealer and Lake of Shadows, so you can't
those are probably gonna be those two.
They don't want you to be
they
able
did
to
say that.
face roll those two.
Steamroll those, yeah.
Okay, so we might get 1 Battleground, we'll get 1 renewed old strike, and then we'll get probably 2 Lightfall Strikes. Interesting.
Potentially, yeah.
And then 2 other ones that are just random. Yeah, they'd mentioned a couple of them though that they were going to change. They're going to change Exodus Crash. They're going to change Inverted Spire, and Arms Dealer and Lake of Shadows. That they were enriching the content for all of those strikes. Or changing.
Translation: we're tired of you all running Lake of Shadows in 5 minutes on GM double difficulty.
Yeah. Same with Inverted Spire. That was so quick. We got that down to 8.5 minute run.
Everything must be the
But
corrupted.
If they were so tired of it, why did they keep every time Inverted Spire was a Nightfall for GM? It was the double week. They did it to themselves.
Maybe they wanted to give themselves a reason. Who knows?
I don't know either. Okay, I wanted to talk to you about Crucible last week, but you weren't here because there was a bunch of nonsense about Steam shit that was breaking the servers. Has lag gotten any better?
No.
Okay.
I've been playing a lot of Crucible this week, and all right. Let me preface that I have had lag in every single match that I've played. There's been at least one person that's been super laggy. That could be because of where they're connecting from, but it hasn't been as bad as it was in Iron Banner, which saw multiple people just rubber banding across the map everywhere. So is it a little better? Sure, but I'm still seeing a significant amount of lag when I'm playing in the Crucible.
Okay. So
Are you
yeah.
sure that's just not your? Are you sure that's just not your internet being bad?
No, I'm sure because it's something that's being experienced by my entire fire team with the specific people.
I mean, I don't know. Could be.
Anyway, some
No,
of the
just
some of the articles last week had mentioned that Steam had identified an issue with some of their servers that was causing some of the issues. Now Bungie said that this isn't going to fix all the problems, but it should be a nice little boost to what you've been experiencing lately. And they said they shut those off last Friday and replaced them with ones that are working. So, I guess report back on that again. Things are getting, see if things are getting any better. And then Defiance mentioned that we're getting new versions of the same PvP modes. Anything exciting? Does that sound anything like Countdown Rush and Checkpoint Control?
So it depends on whether or not Countdown is a 3v3, if it's comp only. If it shows up in comp and trials only, I think it'll be fun. A lot of people don't like It's search and destroy from Call of Duty is what it is, and a lot of people don't like this particular mode. I happen to like Countdown back from the Trials in the 9 days when it was 4v4. I'm very interested in this Countdown Rush where you have to get both points, unless it's in sixes. If it's in sixes, this is gonna be some weird shit.
Terrible. Okay. All right, and then there was Checkmate Control. This mode rewards players using their smarts and skills. So if the only way the enemy has been able to shut you down in the past is to use a solo blade barrage, they might be in trouble. This didn't explain what it was, though.
I'm wondering if it's going to be... it can be... We already have a mode that reduces ability spam in momentum control, but this sounds like that might also be kind of similar. I don't know. It sounds interesting, but we'll have to see what it actually is.
All right. Then they don't mention. They mention a new map in Season of the Deep, so nothing for Season 20, but Season 21, and then Season 22 also gets a map, and then the Return of the Citadel in our last season. Okay, so you're not getting a map, but you're getting one new map every season for the rest of the year. I mean, it could be worse.
I like Citadel.
And one of the maps is a rework, so or just a.
It would be nice.
They're re-putting it in, but
it would be nice if they were adding more maps. Give me at least one map a season, but
we're getting 4 this year or 3 this year out of 4. So I mean, is Meltdown new or old?
No,
so
it's old.
It's an old map. So we're only getting one new map, but we're getting the return of 2 other maps. Well, I mean, that's a cop-out if I ever heard one.
Hey, at least Crucible got mentioned in this thing. Gambit's not mentioned in this anywhere.
Well, it's because Gambit's
even
perfect.
Bungie
That's
hates
the way it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right.
We all love Gambit. That's why I'm guilted so many times.
Okay, and they're also going to increase the speed in which players climb ranks, which I don't think is needed, but whatever.
In competitive.
Yeah, in comp.
Which is a ladder system that isn't a ladder system because you're not locked to playing people at your rank. It's comp. It is comp how comp always was, with its own special gun you get after playing 3 matches, and different names for the ranks. That is all it is. So
sounds right.
I don't want to get too high on my PvP soapbox, but the comp rework is bullshit. It's not good.
I'll take it. Yeah, I haven't played a lot this season. I'm like, I don't know, 3,300, whatever that equals, silver.
We don't even know how your points per match actually move, because you can have a match where you are the highest rated player on the winning team and you gain 5 points, all right? But you lose the next match and lose like 300 points. And then you win the next match and you're not the top rated player and you gain 150 points. Like there's no way to tell exactly what's going on, which is pretty frustrating when you're trying to climb.
Yep. All right, moving on from Crucible, we're going to roll right into the exotic mission rotator news. So we're going to have a weekly rotator, kind of like we do the old dungeons now, where Seraph Shield.
Presage.
Yeah, I'll get to that in a minute. Over the year. Anyway, so from what I understand is we're getting Presage, Vox, Obscura, and Seraph Shield to get to stay in the game on a weekly rotation. And they had mentioned bringing some of the most classic missions back. So we can only hope that we get Whisper
and Outbreak that'd be cool.
The Outbreak mission. I forget the name of it.
I don't know why the one for Hawkmoon isn't mentioned here.
Because it's terrible and nobody wants
garbage. I hated that mission.
Nobody wants
Harbinger?
it back.
Harbinger, that's it.
Yeah, Harbinger was terrible. It can stay where it was. But I will take a black the Whisper one every day of the week. That was so much fun to do. And then yeah, the other one as well.
Is it the jumping? Is Harbinger bad because you don't like jumping?
Well, you have to jump in at the Whisper mission too. Like
I've never
arguably
played
harder.
I don't know. I've never played a mission like Harbinger where you can do the first jump to the dam and just sit there for 15 minutes and watch your teammates continuously die trying to make the jump over and over and over again.
I never had a problem with that jump, so I'm a hunter, remember. I'm good at the game. Anyway, I think this is exciting.
Me too.
I like those missions, and it's good to see them. Weekly
Some of the best
rotation.
content.
Weekly rotation's not the greatest. I wish we could just play them whenever, but I mean, once again, it's better than nothing, and yeah, so that'll work. Then next on here, they talked about refreshing the strikes again, but we already discussed that. So but they did mention Exodus Crash, the Inverted Spire. Wait, hold on. And taking strikes and not been okay. Never mind. They're taking those two and they're just like reducing their presence in the Vanguard ops and eliminating them from Nightfall rotation. Sorry, I read that wrong. They're just like get fucked. Maybe they'll update them later and put them back in. And then they're reworking some of the content and the ones that you guys like, Shadows and Arms Dealer. That was weird. I read them right beside one. Yeah, okay, never mind. Just because the Lake of Shadows and Arms Dealer was right above it, and the Exodus Crash and Inverted Spire was right below it. So I just assumed it was all part of the same conversation. But it's very different. That'll be interesting, though. And they're adding all the new Battlegrounds and stuff from this year into the rotation of the Vanguard rotation. I don't care. So there's a couple things here in a row connecting our Guardian. So the commendation system that's coming looks interesting, I guess.
If you don't give me a commendation after the Sherpa, I'm banning you. I mean, what? Huh? What?
No, there's nothing wrong with a system like that. That's great. It encourages, proper behavior between people. So yeah, commendations are great. Hopefully you get little bonuses and benefits that are worth it. I did notice this thing where it says it sounded like they're introducing like more of a robust chatting system inside of Destiny.
So the main chat for whatever activity you're going to be in is going to be opt-in, or you're going to have to opt out if you don't want to see it. It's going to be turned on by default. So like if you're used to playing other FPS games where you go into a lobby and you're automatically subject to the chat in there, that's what this is going to be like.
Oh, is that it? See, I was kind of excited. I was hoping that they would I want like a global chat in Destiny. I play other MMOs and there's always a global chat and people are always talking and chatting and
I would love to watch some of the shenanigans that would go on in a global chat for Destiny.
I think it's funny. That's a good point, but I guarantee, like, I don't know, like every game has its issues and has its immature people, and usually there's a good way to get them, banned for talking for a certain length of time, and then usually the chat clears itself up pretty good. Many times I've been on, World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy, and the chat is there's never usually anything wrong with it. They're usually talking about the game or, trying to sell some shit or whatever it happens to be. And it's never, just garbage, absolute garbage content constantly. So I imagine they'd be able to do the same thing, but I don't know.
It's going to be nothing but bot accounts selling Guardian services, peddling Guardian services ads nonstop.
Well, I don't know then. Maybe you can't do it. And then Fireteam Finder has been delayed till season 22. So, but that's why we have Discord. ShroudedGaming.com/Discord. Hey, but an LFG system in
This community.
LFG system in game is going to be helpful. It will reduce the need for services like Destiny 2 LFG. but I'm sure that it's not going to take a huge hit. It'll take a hit, but not a huge hit. People are still going to be going to that Discord.
I would be interested to see if they police the in-game LFG any more stringently than they do the website LFG.
Police it how?
So I don't know if you use the Bungie LFG on the website very often.
Never.
But it's constantly full of exactly what I was just saying about global chat. People trying to sell boosting.
Oh, okay.
It's there constantly, and it never gets nuked. Like you'll see the same post sit out there for hours without anybody coming along to moderate it.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Hold on a second. Somebody's stomping down my stairs. All right, never mind. They never came around the corner.
It's probably someone trying to sell you LFGs.
Probably.
Hey, bro, you want a trials carry? Huh?
Anyway, so yeah, in-game LFG should help. The next article was the enhanced weapon crafting, but we kind of went over the really important, stuff on that. They're removing some of the crafting elements. We're going to be able to, upgrade random rolls, and only red borders are going to drop if you can craft the weapon.
I'm hoping they're going to make some changes to the economy, because if they're going to shards and cores for most of this, while that's not a problem for us long timers, it will be problematic for
new people.
Oh, yeah.
For newer players.
Yeah.
All things being equal, I would like the new player to have as much access to that part of the experience as I do, honestly. So.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. There is going to be some requirements. Yeah, and we're just going to have to see what they end up being. Especially for there's enhancements with the new ones, right? So there's tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3, and they're unlocked at 1, 11, and 17. So I guess it just depends on how much they're going to cost, right?
Yeah.
Which we have no details on them yet, so.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the Ascended Alloys in particular. It's the other ones that is, that I'll be interested to see what's going on with.
Very good. So we don't have to get too much into that because that's the basics of it. There's not a lot of details on here. I will have the link below if you want to read out all the little bullet points, but essentially, some good changes come into weapon crafting.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last thing is this week at Bungie, which a lot of the stuff is everything that we just went over. So we're going to quickly go over it. Lightfall near your head. Yeah, we just did that. Enhanced weapon crafting. Yeah, baby, TLDR. Okay, well, here's the TLDR for it. Let's see what it says here. Year 6 of Destiny 2 will include weapon crafting changes to deep sight resonance, resonant elements, enhanced raid weapons, and more. There you go. That's the TLDR. Oh, what you can craft in Season 20. Seasonal weapons, Neomuna weapons, base raid weapons, plus a handful of other weapons that don't have direct comparisons to the Witch Queen sources. Whatever that means. On Season 21 going forward, the following will be craftable. Seasonal weapons, raid reprise weapons. So they're going to be dropping some other stuff. Very cool. All right. There's a thing here about the Steel Series Destiny 2 thing that come out. It looked really cool.
Yep.
We might actually give some of those away because it looks sick. So
The mouse pad looks pretty sweet, yeah.
The mouse is cool. The mouse pad is cool. I can't get excited over headphones because my head is so huge. I have to buy special headphones for my head. But but the emblem that comes with this stuff looks really good.
I didn't see that. I didn't know they came with an emblem.
I might buy the mouse just to get the emblem.
Just to get the emblem. That's crazy.
I didn't know it came with an emblem.
I haven't even checked the emblem yet, so I'll have to look at it. But they look good. We're probably going to be giving some away. So if you're not in our Discord and you like free stuff, shroudedgaming.com/Discord or twitch.tv/shroudedgaming. you'll find us anyway. So we're definitely probably gonna drop some of those. I don't get excited for like mouse pads anymore because my whole desk is now a mouse pad.
Right.
But it does look
This-
cool. But I'd never use
It
it.
looks like it's one of those RGB mouse pads.
Oh yeah,
know?
definitely around the end, 100%.
Yeah.
So I guess we should discuss the seasonal end.
Virtual weapon.
No.
Well, there's
Yeah, we'll get to that. But the seasonal end. So the end cutscene. Everyone played it, right?
Yeah. I can't believe they posted this on YouTube before
30
reset even
minutes
happened.
30 minutes after it went live, wasn't it? Something like that.
Yes. I can't believe they.
Here you go.
Some
You don't
poor-
don't even have to play it now. Just
some
watch.
poor intern fucked up, and poor guy.
Regardless, I thought it was great. I think this was the best season all year
Hands down.
for sure.
It was a good
The
season.
the storytelling of the season was amazing in terms of just story wise.
Yeah.
Throughout the entire season, it was a long period. I do agree. The season started off, but in terms of like talking to people who have also played a lot of Destiny, the previous seasons as well throughout the entire year, people are like, "Oh, another season focused around the Warmind again? Yeah, we had that last year. Why are we doing this again? This is going to be a boring season." But people got a little bit more exciting because they saw the new weapons, the new perks, and so on. And then the story came out, and people actually were invested in it. They were like, "Damn, this is actually a good story." Like, we started out with Clovis, and then Anna said, "No, Clovis, we know exactly what you want to do with this. Here, Rasputin, now you are actually the person who's going to defend us." And then the huge, hopefully you've done the mission by now, the huge thing at the end where he actually becomes a guardian himself by sacrificing himself to defend us, because that's actually what he did. Like, he wasn't a guardian, but he took all the steps necessary to become one.
Yeah.
His sacrifice led to his death to save us.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a great ending to the season. The season overall has been really good. The storytelling's been good. It's been pretty interesting to actually play different things. The legendary mission, the dungeon, everything has been really good this season. And to cap it off, the cutscene, the traveler, starting to leave until Rasputin sacrifices himself and destroys the Warsat network. And then you had the whole moment with Anna and Rasputin. Which was a little lost on me personally, not being a lore hound. Like I had no emotional attachment to Rasputin at all.
Brainer, you sweet summer child.
But the internet apparently did, because everybody was like on Twitter.
I was there. I was there in season 3 when we finally woke up Rasputin again back in Mars.
I mean, I was there too.
I was there when he decided that he was going to become humanity's guardian, as not as a weapon wielded by the Vanguard, but as the chooser of his own fate, that he would help us, but by his own accord.
Yeah, I was also there when I found out that he murdered Fellwinter. Fuck that guy.
I mean, he just killed his kid. It's fine. Because Fellwinter was his kid.
He killed this kid because he was emotional about it. Because he sent them out to learn from the people. The people murdered him, and then this big machine on the sky took something of his and just transformed him into something completely different. Of course, he was upset. I mean,
okay. It's
poor-
not allowed to have
poor
emotions.
AI.
It's a robot.
Poor AI got depression out of it.
Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I didn't feel it like that. Obviously, Anna was sad. It was a good cutscene. They did a good job. But I don't know. I just didn't feel it. I wasn't sad at all. I was just like, okay, cool. Good job, robot.
No, it was a very sentimental
Good job,
cutscene.
Robot.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah.
all right.
I was halfway expecting a ghost to show up, and boom, we've got Fellwinter Mark II at the very end of it. But
Maybe
that would be
maybe.
cool.
No, I don't think they would do that again with the reviving Crow and then reviving Savathun, and then they're just gonna and then reviving.
They'll revive
Like-
Cade next.
Like, why don't we just like revive every single person that dies ever? Like, there would be no
I mean,
stakes.
It doesn't. I mean, it doesn't.
Their
Yeah,
death means nothing.
It does. It doesn't. Doesn't because at the end of last season, the season of Plunder, people were actually thinking because they're like this. There were like a lot of themes regarding death, and of course when the Vanguard also had the other weapon that was the spoiler something saying that someone was gonna die, and a lot of people were theorizing that either Ido or her dad, Mithrax, was actually gonna die, and people are like, "Oh, is this finally like the time that Destiny will have its first like a fallen light bearer?
Oh,
Or,
yeah.
like, is Mithrax or Ido going to be a guardian or like a light bearer finally?" But no, the season just ended, like with nothing of the sort. It's like, oh, I mean, would it be fun? Yeah, totally. Seeing some sort of camaraderie between us and the fallen when it comes like that. Uh, but yeah, I mean, it might. I've seen theories online regarding Rasputin and his submines because we've rescued many of his submines from the bunkers that can so Mars, the moon, but people forgotten themselves. There's one more bunker that's still out there with a submine. You guys remember what it is, or
How the fuck would I know?
Is it the one on the moon that is housing Felwinter's
no.
frame?
No, not that one.
No, then I have no idea.
The one in Io.
Io's gone, dude.
Yeah.
It's not gone. It
No.
was taken by
The
it was
darkness
taken by-
ate it.
Fellwinter
was
can't
safe.
come back because he's in the Destiny content vault.
And just
the same way that Mars came back with like that like time rifts that just switch from a future and past. The same thing can happen in the Warmind bunker. Who knows? I mean, might happen. So it's not out. It's not out of the woods yet. Rasputin may actually come back. Maybe.
okay.
Hopefully.
Unlikely. It would be stupid if they do. In my opinion. All right, we got to wrap up, so we're just going to quickly go over the Season 20 Lightfall ritual weapon being a glaive. Okay, cool. It's a void glaive. Right?
A void glaive with some sick ornaments.
Yeah, the ornaments look great for each one of them. A nice different glow and a little bit of like a glass kind of like particle or I guess effects
Yeah.
on the blade, which is really nice. I specifically like the Crucible Red one. It looks really good. Or I guess the Dreaming City original.
No, Gambit. The Gambit one looks amazing.
The game one's too bright. Like I can't see the intricacies, at least in the photo of the cracked glass through it, where I can on the Crucible one. It looks really nice. But yeah, I guess teach their own.
It doesn't matter as long as you can shader the blade to any color that you want. That's perfectly fine by me.
Okay. Cool. Anyway, that's I mean, ritual weapons haven't, in my opinion, haven't been specifically good since a long time.
No, yeah.
What was the last
Velis X is the one for this season.
Oh, it's trash.
Yeah, no. Yeah,
The
yeah,
last
no, but
good
I
one?
want to know. Yeah, what do you think for yourself, in your humble opinion? What was the last ritual weapon that was actually worth to have?
Randy's throwing knife.
Ah, damn it! You stole my answer. God damn it! Yeah, Randy's throwing knife was one of the best scouts that I laid my hands on. It was amazing, only to be sunset a few seasons after.
Yeah.
So much time wasted on the scout.
I don't know. I enjoyed that the way they introduced those ritual weapons better. I do like the concept now that it's the same one, and then you could potentially add Vanguard or Crucible or Gambit like a trait to it on each one. So it's kind of an interesting. But they've never been like specifically good.
No.
So they're not. Yeah, I don't know. None of them are good. What do we get this year? Cry Mutiny, which is not good. Velas, I mean, that's just another pulse rifle.
Cry Mutiny is fun. You shoot cannonballs. It feels like you shoot cannonballs.
It's fun, but like, how
it is
much
fun.
should I use it?
It is a cannonball.
I barely used it at all.
I use Velas X all the time.
Do you?
I think it's great.
Yeah.
I especially like it if I'm running Gear Falcons because it has repulsor brace.
Oh, true. Yeah, because
yeah,
of
but the VOTD pulse is better than that. With Grey Falcons, whatever you call it.
I happen to like aggressive burst pulses as well. So
the exotic one, I forget what it's called. Collective Obligation.
Yeah,
it's really good with Falcons. So anyway, I guess, but that makes sense. Any Void Pulse would be good with Falcons.
I can definitely see Void Hunters being one of the best class next season, knowing how the new Void buffs are going to be. Sorry, the new Void aspects.
If I find any hunter not swinging around on their strand, I'm gonna ban them from Destiny. You can't play Void until season 21. I'm sorry. That's the rule.
Okay.
We're gonna discuss one last thing before we go. Just because it's I clearly have a different opinion about this than everybody on the internet, because everybody I'm looking at is complaining about this.
I mean, I don't mind it.
So the fact that you can pay real money to skip the Lightfall campaign on your second and third characters.
Look, let's just say what it as is. Bungie finally heard us. We told Bungie, hey Bungie, we don't want to do the same campaign on all of our 3 characters. And Bungie was like, okay, we got it. But you're gonna pay money for it. I was like, fuck. I mean, by the end of the day, there's still a company. They had to make money one way or the other one. Cosmetics are not gonna save them forever. So
it'll be a $10 or $15 jump the line, whatever kind of time saver.
It's 1,000 silver. It's whatever. Like, to me,
it's not the only game that does it. I'm not going to do it because I'll have the campaign done 3 times in the first 2 or 3 days, and I'll move on with my life.
Here's a question for everybody here, and obviously the people who are also listening to us. Have you ever paid silver to skip a seasonal pass level, even if it's just one?
Yes, that's the first thing I do at the beginning of every season is
No,
to buy
like-
the first 10 levels of my season pass.
Is that what you mean, Gato? Like that?
Yeah,
Because
I do that every season just because it's fucking free levels. I'm sitting on a shit ton of silver. Yeah, I don't care.
well, it's different though. That's fundamentally different than what this is. Season pass levels, paying 10 doesn't have any other effect on you. It doesn't increase your power level or anything else. This actually increases your power level on that character.
no. I was just.
But I mean, if
Haterade.
you're already at the soft cap on your hunter, then like it takes 8 seconds to get there on your other character. So that's not what we're paying for. We're not paying to cut out that hour that it takes to get to the level cap. We're paying not to have to do the same content again on my other character. I don't know. I'm down for it. Yeah, sure, it'd be nice if it was cheap, but I don't. I don't fault Bungie for wanting money.
I was just asking that question regarding the season pass because there was a few seasons ago actually, where it was a really boring season for me. I don't know. I barely played, and I was like one day from the season ending, and I was like, oh shit, I'm level 99. And I had exactly 100 silver. I was like, I'm just gonna buy the last level. I don't care.
Yeah, I wouldn't. See, that's no big thing to me. Like, if you're at the end of a season and you just want to make sure you get whatever that big reward is at the end, it It's fine. This is also fine. It's just weird that it's costing money and just isn't a thing you can do. I mean, I understand they need to make money as well. I'm not one of those people that says this is pay to win, because you still have to do the campaign once, and at that point, you've already got gear that's the appropriate level,
yeah, definitely.
and it's gonna pull your gear up on your other characters automatically.
Exactly.
But I just hope it's not too expensive. Is all.
I remember that people back in the day, people would say that Destiny is pay to win, and after all of these years, people still believe that Destiny is pay to win, one way or the other one.
Well, that's stupid.
I was like,
it's not pay to
why?
win at all.
Like,
In no way,
it's
shape,
not
or
pay to
form.
win.
I wish it was pay
No,
to
but-
win.
I like, but don't you pay for stuff? Wait, like, don't you pay for extra things? Like, yeah, cosmetics if you want to look nice. I mean,
That's it.
I mean,
that's all you can pay.
I mean,
In
there
the
was that
fashion
time.
world.
There was the time where when you bought the I think it's called the Panama, the one ornament for Chaperone that was a little bit longer than the original.
Oh, yeah,
You
yeah, more
actually
range.
did have more range on the
Yeah,
shotgun.
that's right.
They've
True,
fixed that
true.
since then, but you
no,
know,
they said they fix it, but it's not fixed. Actually, it's still permanent. It's still there. Which
Smart.
is funny as hell. But
They do little tiny like pay to win things. Like Witch Queen Deluxe, for example, is the only way to get Osteo. Like that's kind of that's like a treading the line style.
I wouldn't say that's pay to win. That's more exclusivity rights.
Okay, it's pay to win. I mean, we can agree to disagree all you want, but essentially, they're forcing people to buy the expansion and all of the year DLC just to get their hands on a special gun. It's the same with Quicksilver; it's no different. It's except for Osteo is actually good. So I mean,
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, Osteo was a game changer at the beginning of the season. It was an amazing gun, still is to this point. Quicksilver got itself into a few bugs here and there at the beginning when it got released, but it's still a good gun. It's not like broken. It might be next season when it has its catalyst, but we don't know.
yeah, we'll see. But yeah, so that's the only aspect that I could even think of even considering the Call Destiny pay to win. So anyway, we're gonna wrap up on that. That was great. If you don't want to pay to play Lightfall, or if you want to pay to play Lightfall or not play Lightfall, go ahead. If you don't want to, then don't. But stop complaining about it. Holy fucking Christ, you guys, people on Twitter, man, I just want to smack them in the face. It's like, just don't do it.
if people didn't complain on Twitter, there wouldn't be any content on Twitter.
There wouldn't, but it still annoys me that people are so bitchy and moany.
Twitter is just a cesspool of people.
Anyway, we're gonna go around. If you guys want to plug anything, now's the time. Rex.
Crimson Days is still ongoing. Our 2v2 tournament happens next weekend, not this weekend, but next weekend. There's still time to sign up. Maybe the link will be in the description. Now that I said it, I guess it has to be. And there's still plenty of time to finish your event pass, get that sweet It Takes Two roll, and get that little pink heart next to your name, and maybe get into a prize drawing. So
I can do that this week.
get on that, grind out those bows.
Yeah, good Saint.
Recruitment post, link in the description. That was dropped yesterday. Upvoted as much as possible. Even if you are or aren't from the community, just hit that little up arrow.
That's actually
You know,
a big
there
one
were-
right now. We're in a big forum war with Lightfall coming. So yeah, the longer we can stay on the front page, the more people we can get. We had massive recruitment yesterday, and the second we moved down to the top 10, I can see a direct correlation of people joining the server and like the bars going like, you know, and then just as soon as you hit below top 10, it's like right down to the ground. So it's just like, yeah, we gotta stay up there. What were you saying, Rect?
There was a post. There's actually a post on the Bungie boards earlier this week where somebody had found a way to get at the upvote downvote data and found that all of the mega communities that have posted, they're all getting targeted
Oh yeah,
downvotes.
we've been targeting for that. I wonder if that was the Apex guy, because I've been in a Discord with them for a while, and I've had access to that data since like 2018. He has a bot that can track it. We talk about it frequently.
People are bitches.
and,
You hear that? You hear that? If you're watching this, you're not part of the Shrouded. If you go downvote us just because we're a mega clan, you're a bitch.
You are a
Agreed.
bitch. Chances are you're another mega clan that's competing with us, but our superiority just trumps your ability to do anything, and that's why you
Your
have to resort
insignificance.
to such trash like downvoting forum posts. So go eat a dick. Go eat a giant dick. All right, Gato.
Well, in terms of shout out, still the same old, same old. We still do have a community Minecraft server. Someone recently opened a Bedrock server. I have no idea how long it's going to be up because it's not being maintained by anyone in this team. So any one of us four. So it's purely community and driven by someone else other than us. So quality is not assured, but you are free to play if so. Also, additionally, for Greener's next big stream, if something happens, usually I do something different, such as play in the game or do like a game show type of thing. So if you are hearing this and you want to participate in something like that in the future, I am looking for participants for my next reprise of a game show. It's not going to be Jeopardy. It's going to be
Russian
something
roulette?
else. Maybe, I don't know.
That sounds like a good one with milk bags.
Ooh,
We don't
there you
sell.
go.
We Greener. You have to understand this. This side of the lake in Europe, we're actually decent people. We don't sell milk in bags.
Okay.
They come in cartons, like normal civilizations.
Like people that like to destroy the environment. Got it. Roger
Yeah,
that.
like everyone else, the normal people.
yeah, exactly.
All right, that's great. All right, Minecraft server, go join it. I guess I'll plug a couple things because you mentioned the Minecraft server and a community-owned Minecraft server. I know for a fact that we've got like a Old Republic clan run by someone in the community, Elder Scrolls clan run by someone in the community, and somebody's trying to get like a Rocket League group together. So if you play any of those games and want to join in, other game section down at the bottom of the Discord, go check it out. They're all community run, so there's no what's the word? Supervision, I guess. I don't know. That's a terrible word, but so if they do something sketchy, then yeah, that's not our fault. The Catastrophe stream is coming up on the 25th as well. It's going to be happening right after the 2v2 Crimson Days tournament, so keep that in mind. Once you're done shooting people with guns, come drink some alcohol. What else is next? I guess Lightfall launch on the 28th. That's good. Let's hit that up. I don't have anything else other than to say join Shrouded if you're not in our community. ShroudedGaming.com/Discord. Huge Destiny community that does lots of stuff every week. So come join us if you're a Destiny player and you want to have fun. There was something else I was going to say. Oh my God. Oh, I forgot to do the drawings again. So I'll put the winners in the description below. I'll do it before this goes live tomorrow. And that sounds about everything I've got for you. So I guess time for an outro. Thank you for watching episode 4 of This Week at Shrouded. I appreciate you coming. Let's hear from our guest, Mr. Rect. Where are you? You're down here. And Mr. Good Saint and Captain Gatto for their expertise. Oh my God. That was unexpected. And we should all be back next week, maybe. And that's all I really got for you. So peace out. Have a great week. And I'll see you then.